All right, I think this is the right one. All right, I think I had a problem and I loaded the wrong one. It's so weird. That's never happened. Lucas says, "Здравствуйте, здравствуйте, my friend. Thank you so much for supporting the channel. Привет." You know, I'm pretty sure I was the first one to make a video about this in English. I know my there like there was my friend, my French buddy. He had published one. He's like the Russian French, the French Russian. It was shared on the Telegram, but in English and breaking it down. I think we were the first channel to break the news, and there was so many comments on my video of saying you read it wrong, you're just clickbaiting, and now it's actually coming to light that the way that the decree is written is actually how I perceived it to be. Okay, there's been amendments to the original way in which people go through citizenship and permanent residency, and these new amendments are the ones that I was talking about. We're gonna look deeper into the decree because we're gonna have time to do it live. Okay, so it's gonna be interesting live today. It's been a while since I've done this. Let me see. First of all, if you're still watching, if this live is still working where you're watching, please tell me where you're watching from. Let's get the chat acquainted. Before I start, let's let some people load in. If you're watching from the United States, tell me what state you're watching from, please. Let me know where you're watching from. We're going to let the people load in. I'm going to also be playing the new video by Countryside Acres because I think Timur, also a lawyer, breaks down this decree in a much better fashion. There was a couple other channels that brought in their professionals, but their professionals didn't really say anything. The Dictator live was already published. It was one of my better lives. So if you want to watch that, just go into my channel and look for that topic. Today we're talking about the decrees. The new decree that was published, that was passed by the Russian President Vladimir Putin, 821. As you guys know, I also talked about Decree 702, which is crazy because look how many decrees have come since then, right? So in this live, we're going to be going over the new decree. A lot of people were saying, Dan, you're just clickbaiting again. You're not going to have to join the military. It's just a new way of getting residency or getting citizenship. Well, as it turns out, all of the lawyers in Russia, all of the professionals are saying that you do in fact have to serve now. This also exists in the United States, by the way. People with green cards also are able to serve in the United States, and they are supposed to, I think, put their name into the possible draft. We're going to look into all of that. And yes, today is the Marine Corps birthday, which is really, really cool. Please let me know if the live stream is rolling in your country. Is this live working okay, I guess? Yes, that's what I was trying to say. Green card holders are required to sign up for the selective service. At least men are, that is right. And it looks like Russia is implementing this. We're going to get into why many of the lawyers think this is even happening. Oh, Fortuna Minecraft, welcome, bro. Nice to see you on here again. So, let's get this show started, okay? The biggest reason why people believe this is happening is to fight immigration from the Central Asian countries, right? Like Tajikistan, Uzbekistan, even Kazakhstan. All of these countries have tons of immigrants in the Russian Federation. When I arrived to Russia, you could get Russian residency through marriage. This is when I arrived. During the conflict, they changed it. They amended that law and they said you can no longer gain residency under marriage. Now you need to have at least a child born in Russia. As you guys know, my son was born a month ago in the Russian Federation. My son is a Russian citizen. My son is 100% Russian right now, legally wise. And now the Russian government has changed again and it's amended its old laws, and it says you can no longer receive residency based off of having a child in Russia. Now you have to have military service. A lot of people say no, that you're wrong. You can't just you don't have to do military service. It's a new decree saying that you can choose to get military service and get residency. That is not how it works, guys. So we're going to go look into the actual decree again, and we're going to be looking at a lawyer talk about this, okay? We're going to be looking at Timur. He runs a business where he helps Westerners come to Russia. I'm not promoting his business, but I'm letting you know that this does affect his business. A lot of Westerners are scared because they came under the shared values visa. Of course, that is temporary residency, and they don't have to have military service. Okay, so this affects permanent residency and citizenship applications. Permanent residency and citizenship applications, not temporary residency, which is the shared values visa. But after the shared values visa is over, it's assumed that they have to upgrade to permanent residency where they would have to serve in the military. So this right now is worrying a lot of Westerners, okay? A lot of Westerners do not want to come to Russia right now. A lot of Westerners are even scared to get temporary residency because they're scared of getting themselves in a hole and shooting themselves in the foot, as they say. Okay, so how's everybody doing? If you're watching from the United States, thank you so much. That is my birth country. Miguel, welcome, brother. If you're watching from Canada, you guys are my neighbors. Hello to all of the people outside of Canada and the United States. I saw some European countries. Love you guys. So let's do this. Okay, so on the video, I mentioned to you guys that this is Decree 821. It's important to note that this decree is known as a temporary decree. This is not a permanent amendment. This is something that was essentially in place during the time of the conflict in Ukraine, during mass immigration into Russia, during an up percentage in attacks inside of Russia. There's been a lot of extremism in attacks in Russia. So this decree is coming in the middle between all of these things, okay? This decree is not a permanent decree, but it is something that's putting a band-aid on a larger problem. How is it solving or helping a problem? Well, adding incentive to join the military will make a lot of people who don't actually want to live in Russia or do not take it serious simply not try, okay? You can see it however you want to see it. I'm assuming this is what the Russian government is thinking. This is not my direct opinion. This is what I'm guessing what the original purpose of this decree is. It will decrease the heretics from coming in. This is another way of wording it, but you get the idea, right? I hope you guys understand what I'm saying. So here we go. Decree of the President of the Russian Federation of November 5. Now we're going to go through all of it. We're going to read all of it. I know some of you guys don't have the time to watch this live, but the reason why we're going through all of it is so that you can understand. And if you watch these other channels, some of these guys probably have never read through all of it, but I'm trying to read through all of it. So, decree of the of the President of the Russian Federation of November 5, 2025, number 821, on the temporary procedure for admission to citizenship of the Russian Federation and issuance of residence permits in the Russian Federation. So, this is saying this is temporarily, this is how things are being done. This is going to amend how it's being done. This is an amendment to fixing the process of citizenship and permanent residency. Okay, so in accordance with paragraph 2 of Article 3 of the Federal Law of July 25, 2002. So right now it's going back in time and letting you know this is what it's going to probably amend. On the legal status of foreign citizens in the Russian Federation, and paragraph 4 of part 1, so now it's naming another part, on citizenship of the Russian Federation. So it's talking about the legal status of foreign people and on the citizenship of the Russian Federation. I decree, so this is saying this is what's going to happen. 1. Approve the attached. This is what has been approved. A. Regulation on the temporary procedure for admitting certain categories of foreign citizens and stateless persons to citizenship of the Russian Federation. Regulation on the temporary procedures of issuing residence permits in the Russian Federation to certain categories of foreign citizens and stateless persons. It gives you two things, guys. It is saying the president's decreeing, because here you can see it says, I decree. This is signed by the Russian president. Okay? I decree the following. Approve the attached. There's an amendment being done to citizenship and an amendment being done to the issuance of residence permits. Okay? Do you guys understand so far? As I'm reading this, I'm pretty sure nobody else is breaking it down like this. In the first 2 lines, you get to understand that he's decreeing and approving of the attached. Okay, regulation on the temporary means, well, from my perception is they're going to regulate the procedure of getting citizenship temporarily. This is my take on it. You guys are reading it as I'm reading it. There has been an amendment. There's a new regulation, and it's a temporary. It's a new temporary procedure to get citizenship. It's a new temporary procedure to get issued residency. Okay. This is right off the bat. We're going to continue reading, but I don't want you guys to think that I'm scared or my plans are going to change. I made it really clear in the previous video that I was not going to, my plans were not going to deter. I'm going to do what I was going to do. My video said I'm going to have to serve in the military because I intend to get permanent residency. I do not intend to get this shared values visa. Okay? I do not agree with the shared values visa. I came to Russia because I love Russia. I was not running away from a country. So, we're going to continue reading the decree, but you have to understand, this was not made thinking that it's going to affect immigration from Western countries. I think they made a big mistake. I think this is probably going to be fixed in the future, but let's continue. Okay. The Ministry of Defense of the Russian Federation and the Ministry of the Russian Federation for Civil Defense, Emergencies and Elimination of Consequences of Natural Disasters. So right now, all it's giving you is a list of agencies within the Russian Federation, okay? Okay, no, sorry. Here's an important part. It says after emergencies and elimination of consequences of natural disasters, in agreement with the Ministry of Internal Affairs of the Russian Federation, shall approve the forms of certificates confirming that the foreign citizen and stateless person are serving in the armed forces of the Russian Federation or rescue military units. Okay, so on period number 2, it's telling you that it's going to approve the forms and the certificates that are given by foreigners from these agencies here. Okay? Russian Federation Civil Defense, Emergency, Natural Disasters, okay, all of this. So it's clearly letting you know that these are the prerequisites that you need. You need a certificate from these organizations. The main diplomats in the Russian Federation have told you that there has been an amendment in regulation of how they issue citizenship and permanent residency, and it's letting you know on point number 2 that the government has accepted only people with these certificates from these places. Okay? To declare the following to be no longer in force, this here is what it's replacing. These were decrees that were probably passed before this decree, and these decrees were the ones that are highlighted that you're going to see. Those were the ones that were in place to fast track to citizenship, fast track to residency. So they put them all together and they amended it into all in one. Okay, check it out. This is what people think. On the admission to citizenship of the Russian Federation of foreign citizens who have entered a contract with the military. This was in 2024. This is what this decree is replacing, because it says here, will no longer be in force. These are the decrees that are going to be replaced. These are the decrees that are being replaced by the new one, but they're being replaced by adding them to the new one and fusing them both together. Does that make sense to you guys? Because this was January 4, this was July 31st. Okay? Do you guys understand? Some of these channels are not making it clear that this new decree is replacing the old one that everybody says, Dan, you're wrong. This is just a way of getting fast citizenship. No, this is not a way of getting citizenship fast by signing a contract. This is the new decree making the process a legitimate one for the Russian government. So yeah. Let me see here. The questions from this guy were getting ridiculous. No comment, like no point to them. So I'm gonna pause there for a second, and hopefully the live is still working, because I think that we're breaking this down pretty well. I think now I even understand it even better. the way that Russia works, ever since I've been here, they pass new laws that replace the old ones. They pass new laws that replace the old ones. It's not like in the United States. So in the United States, they make a law and they don't add on top. Sorry, in Russia, they add on top. They layer the laws. Okay, in the United States, they make a law. When the Democrats win, they make a law, and then when the Republicans win, they delete this law and throw it away. They completely replace it, sometimes with the opposite. In Russia, the laws are layered like a cake. Does that make sense, guys? Let me know, or am I going crazy? Hopefully this is making sense to you guys. I'm trying to be as understanding as possible. Yes, Countryside Acres had his immigration lawyer, but his immigration lawyer says that this applies to people who are applying for citizenship and permanent residency now. Exactly. So Mark says it's like an amendment to the Constitution, essentially. That is exactly what it is. It's an amendment to the Russian way of doing law. But like I was saying, the way the Russians do it, that they put a law, and usually they put another one, and then another one, and another one, and another one. There's a lot of amendments going on in the Russian Federation, more than in the United States. In the United States, they'll throw a law away and put something else. Okay, so let's continue here. And by the way, please, guys, if you're watching this live still, consider putting like. We're almost to half 100 likes. I do these lives because I think it's important to give you guys the information that probably nobody's doing the research on, or nobody has the drive to do it. I know a lot of people who watch this channel want to visit Russia or were planning on moving to Russia, and this news is very important. It's important for you guys not to be scared. It's also important for you guys to know the truth, because a lot of people really hammered me on the comment section, and it didn't make any sense for giving my opinion. My interpretation of this is as good as anyone's, because there was channels with lawyers in them and politicians who were just blowing smoke up people's asses. And for the people who are scared about, yeah, I know about the foreign military thing. So the United States will take away your citizenship if you are staff NCO in a foreign country's military, or if you are in a war against the United States. If you join a military that's against the United States in a conflict. Russia is not in a conflict with the United States directly. Also, I'm going to be enrolling, or I'm going to be applying next year. I should make it very clear to you guys that I don't have the appropriate paperwork in Russia right now to apply. I intend to apply next year, and hopefully this decree disappears. This is a temporary decree, and I intend to apply next year. Yes, there's a lot of people who are asking me, hey, what's going to happen if you join the military? If I'm a citizen of Russia and I'm in the military, the United States doesn't have a legal base to take my citizenship unless Russia and the United States are in direct war. This is what Timur said to me in an email. It is mandatory for those that have temporary residency permit and want to apply for permanent without serving in the Russian military. And for the people who say you have a Russian child, guys, they amended this. If you have a Russian child, it applies to people like me. You guys are not listening. It's very strange when I repeat myself, okay? I came to Russia and all you had to do was be married to a Russian and you could get Russian residency. They changed the law. I had a son in Russia and then I could apply for residency. They changed the law. The Russian government has been changing the law because there's been immigration from other countries. There's been extremism happening in Russia and the laws change. I am not complaining. I am not the leader of the Russian Federation. They can change the law however they want, but I am here to tell you that they've changed the law 3 times since I've been here. You're incorrect to believe that I can get residency just because I have a Russian son. The Russian government no longer is granting residency to people with Russian children. The law has changed. That is the whole point of this live stream, to inform you that the bar has been higher and higher for the last 3 years that I've been here. Okay, so please pay attention. Yes, it's just like also Trump. Trump also is talking about taking about birthrights in the United States. So birthrights in the United States might not be a thing in the future. I don't know if it's already not a thing. Illegal immigrants coming into the United States and having babies in the United States. Herbert, thank you so much for subscribing. And thank you guys for engaging in conversation in the chat. Remember, subscribing is free. This is a channel that brings information to you guys. Yeah, Russia stacks its laws. Okay, so birthright citizenship is going through the court. What I'm telling you right now is nothing new in the West and in other countries. Robert, thank you so much for the motivation, my friend. I appreciate you. You have to understand that Russia has the same problems as the United States. A lot of immigration, a lot of attacks. Okay, you might not see them. For Russia, they are a lot if there's one, and there's been more than one. Russia is also experiencing a lot of hate from the world, just like other countries, and it's what it is. The temporary timeline is definitely during the special military operation. Yes, I believe that this is going to be like the previous decree that I reported on, the shared values visa, the 702 decree. That one, within months, we started getting more news and there were amendments to the decree. There were things that were fixed. So I'm here reporting on the decree so that if you see other channels, you can let them know that our channel here, we broke down the decree. So let's continue. This decree shall enter in force on the day of its official publication. So here on line number 3, sorry. So on line number 3, it's telling you to declare that the following will no longer be in force. Line number 3 tells you that it'll no longer be enforced these 2 decrees that were passed, which are the ones that everybody says that's how you can get fast citizenship, fast residency. Line number 4 tells you that the decree shall enter into force on the day of its official publication. President of the Russian Federation, Vladimir Putin, Moscow, Kremlin, November 5. So this was November 5. Approved. This took us about 30 minutes, okay? But we can dig deeper, and we will be digging deeper into the residency one. But in 30 minutes, we got to understand more than I did in the beginning. So let's scroll down, and in here it's going to tell you regulations on the temporary procedures for admitting certain categories of foreign citizens and stateless persons to citizenship. I am not seeking citizenship, I'm seeking residency. So you scroll down and you can see it's also approved. This is the one we're going to read. This is for residency. Let me tell you who this doesn't affect. Actually, let's look at the video by Countryside Acres. Let me see. Okay. Can you guys hear me all right? Can you guys hear me? I'm going to be playing a video of Countryside Acres talking to the lawyer. I'm going to change the microphone to the computer so it sounds better. But keep in mind, we're going to be listening to it. And if you have time to go watch his video, go watch it, Countryside Acres, and let him know that Dan from Wild Siberia sent you. Moscow Expat says, Dan is correct. The law has changed. I came 15 years ago and married my Russian American wife. I got 5 years residency card, which entitled me to benefits. Nice. See? Could you imagine what it was like 15 years ago? Crazy, huh? Thank you, guys. Hey, if you leave a comment saying that Wild Siberia sent you, it's a really nice thing. Thank you. I'm not gonna play it from the beginning. I'm gonna show you a part that I think is really important, and
Timur Bisangurov, I'm managing partner of Moving to Russia. It's a project that helps foreigners to move to Russia. With regards to this new decree, yeah, it came out of, let's say, nowhere. Nobody expected this decree. In a nutshell, yeah, it's not good. In my opinion, it's by gross negligence. I don't think that somebody specifically was aiming, especially to the Westerners, to get them.
is the sound okay on the video? Can you guys hear what he's saying? His microphone is not the best, but can you guys hear him? Russian law is set up a lot like French law. If you serve in the military, okay, let's go.
Sign up for the military, but that's what the decree says in case they are applying for either permanent residency based on a temporary residency that was received by them, let's say, either by quota or by 702 or through marriage, as it was before, or even now it's a possibility, or if they're applying for permanent residency based on a Russian child, or if they are applying for Russian citizenship based on a Russian child. So these are the grounds or criteria that do fall under this new decree. Another criteria under which you fall basically into this new decree is if you apply for permanent residency or Russian citizenship based on having a Russian child. Yeah. So those categories that I mentioned, they fall under this new decree. There are other categories on how you can receive permanent residency, for example. Yeah, it's either as being a graduate from a Russian university, either as a highly qualified specialist, as a compatriot who comes to Russia based on compatriot relocation program, or as an investor. Those categories do not fall under this decree. Yeah. But of course, most of the people that are, let's say, concerned is the ones that move to Russia based on 702 decree, receive their temporary residency, and for them to receive permanent residency, they have to serve in the military 1 year. Again, my opinion that it was gross negligence because it doesn't make sense. As you know, and I think it has been discussed that for the last year, several organizations or several government officials, such as Governor of Nizhny Novgorod, Gleb Nikitin, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Sergei Lavrov, and Agency for Strategic Initiatives, they have been working for more than a year to streamline the process of moving to Russia, those 702. Yeah, like taking away custom duties for personal belongings, yeah, and many other things. There were about 50 amendments that are hopefully due to streamline the process for those that are coming based on 702. Now, this new decree is kind of goes against that, yeah, logically. So I think, and I've spoken already to several government officials. They initially was saying, no, that's not the case. You read it incorrectly. But mainly they were referring to some media coverages by journalists that were saying uh, that this decree is good. Now it allows foreigners that served in the military to obtain permanent residency or citizenship in Russia, and that's what they were saying. But again, lawyers are different from journalists. Yeah,
Yeah.
we trust papers. Yeah. So and also to say to add to this, that case of Betty Kaufman and like thousands of others, yeah, thousands, tens of thousands of other foreigners that went to the Russian military and signed the contract, they received Russian citizenship. So that possibility existed before this decree. Yeah. So again, in my opinion, okay, what to do? Yeah, nobody will draft you immediately. Yeah, that's not the way it works. It's only that you are eligible to apply for permanent residency only after servicing in the military for 1 year. Now, what we're expecting? First of all, we're expecting victory. Yeah, because this decree basically is valid until we win, and then it is not in the effect anymore. It doesn't say in the decree like this, but that's logical, yeah? And secondly, we're expecting that those government officials that kind of now understood how this decree works will try to carve out Westerners from that decree.
Okay, so to interrupt you for a minute. So you said if you have an education or a specialty or a compatriot, then you're exempt, correct? And 702 visa holders are not. So explain what that is. That's the traditional values visa, correct?
Correct.
So my family immigrated under that. And for me, I'm a temporary resident now. So this decree has no bearing on me at this moment. But if I want to get my permanent residency, then I have to sign a contract.
Correct.
And also for anyone who is here as a permanent resident and they want to upgrade to citizenship, again, they would have to sign a contract under this decree.
Correct.
Correct. Can you explain that in Russian as well a minute? Because I know I have had a lot of Russian comments saying that this is not true and it's, whatever. Everybody's an expert, as you know. And that's why I figure we need someone like you who actually understands the law to give a proper interpretation here.
Okay, we'll stop there for a second. All right, is my mic on, guys? So as you can see, there was a lot of Russian people also on my channel. If you haven't watched my video on this, go watch it. It was a hot take, guys. I reported on it after reading the decree myself, and so many Russian people were saying you're exaggerating. This is a decree that is only going to facilitate for the people who want to go serve. No, you have to understand, guys, this encompasses everyone. I, again, will not be signing a contract yet. I intend to get my residency next year. I intend to apply next year. I will be calling the recruiters here in Irkutsk Oblast in the very near future because they have to know what's happening. I will talk to the military ahead of time in my oblast to say, hey, I'm intending to get residency because I'm going to have to go through you guys anyways. So you have to kind of dip your toes into that. But that's a story for another time. Now, I'm going to continue reading the decree. But if you haven't hit like yet, if you've learned something, at least put like. When I ask for likes, it's because the algorithm pushes this out to the people who are interested but don't know that this live is happening. So I'm going to take some questions from you guys. It says, can people from Brazil apply for the shared values residency permit? No. No, Brazilians cannot. You guys are not on the shared values visa list. The law can change 3 times in the next year. That's correct. And by the way, I am not delaying my residency application because of this. I don't have the paperwork here. I have to go back to the United States and Mexico to bring all the paperwork. So that's why I'm not applying for it yet. I'll take about 5 minutes to answer some of your guys' questions. Shared Values Visa is a visa that was created by the Russian government to facilitate immigration from unfriendly countries into Russia. Did he say that they might be excluding Westerns from immigration? No. This new decree makes immigrating to Russia very unattractive. Yes, so if you don't speak Russian, actually, like, this is not a basis of what they would not deny you just because you don't speak English, guys. I think that the lawyer is being a little bit optimistic there. There is many foreigners who don't speak Russian, many heroes who don't speak Russian, who are fighting for the Russian military. Okay, so then what options do I have? I'm 29, male, singer, computer, major science. If you are an educated person, you can come to Russia based on your education or your profession. If you have a high degree, you can actually get a visa for being like a valuable asset to the Russian workforce. I forgot what the hell it's called, but it was mentioned. Yes, there's also different, not police. There's the list of things that you can serve under. Police is not one of them. In fact, I don't even think foreigners could be police. So let's go ahead. Let's continue here. Let's see where they are.
When to sign the decree, not 2,000 people.
We've spent a lot of time promoting Russia, showing everybody how great it is here and that it's a good life, and kind of basically squish many people's negative opinions of Russia. The media is obviously portraying Russia in a bad light, and Russia's not that way at all. Now this new law, what effect do you think that's going to have on that? Is that going to, basically wreck all the work that's been done in the last few years?
Well, again, my opinion is that the genie is out of the bottle, unfortunately, yeah? Although I think that this decree was primarily focused on the citizens of Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, those kind of countries, yeah, that are, not 2,000 people from the West that moved on shared value visa, yeah, it's nothing. Yeah, if we trust the data from the Ministry of Defense of Russia, yeah, every month there are 30,000 people going to sign the decree, to sign the contract with the Russian military. So those 2,000 or 3,000 foreigners, Westerners that moved to Russia, I doubt that was the target, yeah. And honestly, out of this 30,000 people that every month sign with the Russian military, there are a lot of foreigners, specifically from the Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, there are a lot, because even when we went with Derek to sign up for the military, and same day you go to the immigration office, so there were 10 guys same day with us that were foreigners as well as Derek, yeah, but they were.
Did I mess up the volume? Is the volume bad? How was the volume? I didn't change the microphone there. 1 1 1 1. It was okay? Okay, let's continue. By the way, this is the part where he's going to talk about the American who joined. He doesn't speak Russian. In my opinion, he was probably sent somewhere. I mean, he's told his stories, but I don't know. Um, Anyways, let's keep looking.
From Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Kazakhstan, and they will voluntarily sign in to join the Russian military. So I don't really, I mean, I'm pretty sure it was, as I said, a mistake, gross negligence, because this decree should have been written in a different way. Yeah, there is an exception specifically written in this decree which says that it is not applicable for citizens of Belarus. Then you should put a comma and say that it's not applicable for citizens of non-friendly countries. Because even if we go down further on how, let's say somebody says, okay, I'm going to go and apply for my permanent residency and sign up with the Russian military. When you go there, in 95% of the cases, if you don't speak Russian, you will not be approved. Yeah, they won't take you to the military if you don't speak Russian. Yeah, I mean, there are very few exceptions, such as Derek and a few others, that were accepted. But in general, they won't even accept you there. So there is no point.
That's logical.
Yeah, it's. I think it was just a mistake. Somebody just didn't think about this factor. Sometimes I'm a bit amazed because when some of the Russian laws are written, there is a preliminary. There is a quite big discussion within the expert community. Yeah, even those amendments that are right now, about 50 amendments that are right now being discussed at Agency for Strategic Initiatives about traditional values, how to make it better. I mean, for 1 year, we have been meeting with these people and discussing and giving our thoughts and ideas, and I mean, it was a very good, productive work. Now, this decree comes out. I haven't heard about any expert groups that have been discussing it, which is a bit strange, yeah? I still think that it will be. I mean, I cannot give a guarantee, but in my opinion, yeah, somebody up there, and I mean, people already, and when they understood how it was done and what it actually means, yeah, they were also quite surprised, and they said, "No, this is this is really bad." But again, the genie is out. We'll hope that they will amend it quite soon, yeah, or the war or the special military operation will be over quite.
I want you to notice he says, I hope it gets amended soon. Okay, so decrees are just this decree is an amendment to the previous decrees, and it's really interesting that he said amendment before I even got to that part. I didn't watch that part. This is my first time watching that far, and he's hoping that they amend it. One thing I disagree with Timur is that I think he thinks that they made a mistake, that they forgot to add the people of unfriendly countries. I think that the Russian government knows what they're doing. As long as they don't amend it, some people will register and some people will be useful for them. Some people will sign contracts. Some people will go down that road. They can do whatever they want. But the Russian government usually doesn't do that sort of oh, we made a mistake, we forgot to add this. No, the people at the top know what they're doing. It's pretty obvious. So we're gonna continue watching that. I just want you to know that it's also very unlikely, if you don't speak Russian, that they won't find a spot for you in the military. There's room in logistics. There's room in burning shit in a metal drum, just like some people did in Afghanistan and Iraq. There's people who can cook. There's people that can clean toilets. In the military, if you take one guy away from cooking, that's one guy that can be a rifleman. In a huge conflict that you're looking at right now between Ukraine and Russia, every Russian that has a job of a cook or freaking logistics guy that's deep in the rear, if you replace him with a robot English speaker, you can really up productivity. In the military, a rifleman is the most important guy. And every opportunity that you have to replace some of these cooks that speak Russian with these robot Westerners or Central Asians, it's going to be more cohesion in the front lines. And I'm only speaking militarily, of course. I don't want you guys to be offended by the way I'm talking about the Central Asians and the Westerners, me included. I would be a piece of shit to the Russian military, even with my combat experience, even though I fought in trenches, even though I'm combat decorated. I don't speak fluent Russian. In a combat zone, I would be good enough to survive, I guess, just by knowing what I'm doing, but I wouldn't be able to survive an actual operation, if that makes sense. You need the language, but not knowing the language will not exclude you from having a job like cleaning a bathroom, moving a box, cooking some eggs. The Russian government will find a place for you. This is without a doubt.
Quite soon, and it will not affect people that came to Russia on a shared value.
I have heard of some stories of people going to apply now already, and it already affected them.
Let's see. First of all, thank you so much for the donation. I really appreciate you always, Robert. Dan, do you have any information on the sign-up bonus income offered to foreign citizens? Yes. So, from what I understand, the regions do have sign-up bonuses, but some of these sign-up bonuses will not apply for foreigners. Why? Because there is no merit to the Russian government. If you are a foreigner, your gift is residency or citizenship. Of course, you will have a sign-on bonus. They do give a sign bonus for the regular army. But a lot of these bonuses are not going to be competitive. If you were to sign in right now, your bonus would be citizenship. If you work through a recruiter's office, you might be able to actually get those bonuses. I can get more information in the future, but here, let me see. You know, there's advertisements all over the place in my town, and I'm collecting them. I had one from outside. I have it somewhere in the room, but there's one on the door of my building. I might make a video in the future about pay. Okay, Robert, just so you know, that's a really good question. Sorry that I don't have the best answer for you, but I'm gonna do my research and actually make a video on the pay for the Russian soldiers, because I live in one of the poorer parts of Russia and our pay is probably one of the lowest bonuses. So I would really like to compare them. Let's continue watching this because it's getting to a good part. Countryside Acres is about to mention that some people he knows actually already signed a contract. This is what I told you guys. The government of the Russian Federation knows that some people will end up signing before it's amended. Some people will sign, and that's their prerogative. Like, that's what they want to do. That is their goal. That is their dream. Cool. I cannot do it. I don't have the appropriate paperwork. I also don't think that I'm useful in the position that I would want to do. And I already told you guys, I would have trouble being put wherever they tell me to be put. Like, the job they give me is not going to be the job I would want. And in the military, if you are not competent, you can be unalived. So,
on a shared value visa.
I have heard of some stories of people going to apply now already, and it already affected them because they did not have a contract. They could not get their permanent residency. So I don't know if you've heard of cases of that as well.
We have such plans, yeah. We also have such clients.
Yeah. So that shows that it is true, obviously, because it is that way. Is it easy for them to repeal this or to change it, or how does that work in Russia? Is that an easy thing to do? They can make an amendment to it, or
again, what I know that right now a new decree is coming up that I told you just that we discussed, about streamlining the procedures and kind of broadening on different other matters with regards to shared value. I hope that they will include, one sentence there saying that to amend this new decree, adding citizens of non-friendly countries to carve them out. So a lot of work has been done, again, as I said, to on shared value residence. So hopefully they will include it there. But when it's going to come, hopefully by the end of this year.
Okay. Any message to people who are in the process of, thinking about coming here? Should they continue with that thought process, or?
I think yes. I mean, my personal opinion that because you still have. When you get your temporary residency, you still have 3 years before you are eligible to apply for permanent residency.
You can also extend your temporary residency, right?
You cannot extend it. You can reapply, starting all over again. You need to wait until your temporary residency expires, exit, come back on literally start everything again. But that's
so it's not something you can do from within the country.
No, only new process.
All right. I think that covers everything, or
legally wise, yes.
As far as information, that's probably what everybody needs to hear, I guess. And then hopefully something will change, and we can give some positive news in a few days.
A few days, I don't know, but maybe in a month, 2 months,
Why would they make a rule like this anyway? What would be the reasoning behind it, you think? Because some people are saying it's meant to just streamline things, but I don't see anything in there that streamlines it. It just seems like it makes a condition, that's all.
If somebody says that it's streamlining, as it appeared in the news initially, that there are new possibilities and benefits for those foreigners that served in the Russian military, no. Because we did have already a law, a decree that, as I mentioned, allows, tens of thousands of foreigners already received their citizenship when they serviced in the military. Again, Derek's example is one of the good examples, but there are a lot of those guys. So I don't see what it streamlined. I think my personal opinion that authorities wanted to draft citizens of stans because there are millions of them, and some of them, let's say, are not very. Nobody knows what they're doing in Russia. Let's say they have temporary residency permit. They want to apply for permanent residency permit, and probably Russian authorities decided, okay, guys, you are either out of Russia or you, because a lot of ethical crime groups, or there is a big crackdown on those type of immigrants. Within after
terrorist attack.
After that, there is a big crackdown on them. So I'm pretty sure that this decree was focused on that. But again, I saw it. With Derek, there were 10 other guys from those countries that came and voluntarily signed the contract to serve in the Russian army.
Right, and they all speak Russian as well, right? So
and they probably received their citizenship if they.
Aside from this, though, Russia is still a really great place with a pile of opportunities. So hopefully they sort this thing out soon, and more people have a way to go. We still believe it's a great place to be. Anyway,
I still believe that too.
Absolutely. Okay, well, thank you very much for explaining this. Hopefully it gives some clarification on it. We should do more videos like this, I guess, because you have lots of other immigration experience and knowledge. That would be helpful.
I'm happy any day.
All right. Hey, thanks, Timur.
Yep. Bye-bye.
I was eating something. So Aaron is actually he's doing a fair assessment of the shared values, and he's asking the right questions. If you notice, he's like, why would they do this? and it's already affecting people. Like he's not bothered to hold back. I'm actually surprised. So if you guys are not subscribed to Countryside Acres, he seems to be a squared away guy. I met him in person in Nizhny Novgorod, and he seemed like a honest man. And through this interview, you can see that he actually cares about the people who are gonna come next. And he doesn't want people to be scared, and he doesn't want people to have to serve. He wants people to be able to come and, if they get away from tyranny, they want to come and enjoy and start a new life. A military contract during the biggest war in Europe since World War II is not a way of restarting a life. So, guys, I knew I was going to, I said we were going to go look into this regulation here, the amendment to the new issuance of, what is it? Permanent residency. So here, number one, well, actually, this is wrong here. This regulation establishes a temporary procedure for issuing residence permits in the Russian Federation to certain categories of foreign citizens and stateless persons, okay? Remember, it's already been approved, and line number one is telling you that this is establishing a new temporary way of proceeding these or issuing these permanent residencies. It's telling you right there, it's establishing a new and temporary way of issuing these permits. Line number two, foreign citizen and stateless persons from among legally capable men age 18 to 65 years old have the right to apply. This is something that people have said. This is why they say it's a lie. Have the right to apply. Have the right to apply doesn't mean that this is another way you can apply. It is saying that you have the right to apply because we made a new decree we made a decree that changes the way we issue these permits and citizenships. You have the right to apply means you can do it and nobody's going to force you. This is why people think this is one way of doing it. It's not the way of doing it. It's the way of doing it if you apply for it. Does that make sense? I hope you guys understand that, because some of the people who watch my video, they were going crazy saying, no, you're wrong. The way of doing it is this way, and now they created this way. Timur, the lawyer, said there were already decrees facilitating citizenship through military service. So here, let me do something else. One second. Yeah, Aaron seems like a really cool guy. If you guys know him, please go and tell him I said hello. Tell him you were on a live on my channel and that I sent you over there, because he seems to be an honest guy. He asked the right questions. He seemed like the kind of person that I would be if I was sitting with a lawyer. He asked the questions I wanted answered. Here, let me find some comments that here, this is a good one. This is the stuff that people comment. No, you don't have to. No, you don't have to. You can qualify for a residence permit as a husband of a Russian citizen, and additionally, you have a son who is a Russian citizen as well. Since you have a kid, you can apply for permanent residency automatically. This is the ignorance of the people. This is the ignorance of the people who don't understand that you used to be able to do that. Okay, you used to be able to do that. And I'm not going to get more into it. It's a little bit too late in the day. I hope you learned something new. And if you can take something from this, take the following. You have no fucking control over your life, no matter where the hell you are. Whether it's your home country, whether it's your country that you immigrated to, you have no fucking control. What you do have control over is how you react to these problems, how you execute your plans. So what I've chosen to do is I chose to calm down. I chose to still get my residency permit, get my paperwork in order. And if I have to sign a contract in the future, it is what it is. Because I need to be here for my son. If something were to happen to my wife, I need to have something that will keep me in Russia. My son is a Russian-born citizen. I am not a vlogger. I am not a influencer. I make videos so that you understand what life in Russia is like. That's why my Telegram is called The Russian Experience. I don't lie to you guys. I don't sugarcoat things. I just do the damn thing. So, everything's going to be good. See you guys on the next one. Please put like if you haven't already. And tomorrow I'm going to be doing a video talking about exactly this again.